Hi, I'm Melanie James, and I'm here at Living Waters for my 10th day of a 10-day cleanse. I crawled in here about a month ago. I was making a decision whether to go to a chemotherapy appointment that my oncologist had set up for me. I had passed up 2 different appointments for the chemotherapy and put them off because I wanted to try to pray to find another solution, just to give myself some time to do a little research and think about this before I let them start the chemotherapy. I was laid off in 2008 and was starting a business as a dental lab technician, which I had done previously. But I was starting from scratch, so working many, many hours, not taking care of myself, not thinking that I could afford supplements when I really couldn't afford to be without them. Just running on empty all the time. And the end of 2010, I was working late in the lab and mistaken for a burglar when the police put a dog in the building. And I was attacked by a police dog. He caught me in the bathroom as I was getting ready to leave. And he roughed me up in the bathroom a little bit. My back was broken. I had probably 32 puncture wounds down to the bone in the wrist and all the way up the forearm, and a very deep puncture wound in the elbow. I was taken to the hospital and they started treating me. I was put on very strong antibiotics, given pain medication, and sent home. I have been allergic to Bactrim, and it's really created problems in my stomach in the past, so I've always avoided that. About 3 days later, my arm got so infected and swelled up to about 3 times the normal size. I went back to the ER, and they told me that I had to take Bactrim. That was the only antibiotic that would deal with a certain germ in the dog's mouth that was now in my bone, or I would lose my arm. So I was on one strong antibiotic and added that to it and went home and was so ill that I couldn't get off the couch for 3, 4, 5 months. I couldn't eat. I probably lost 15, maybe 20 pounds in that time period. I was so sick. Took me so long to recover because I was so running on empty in the first place. I finally, after 9 months of just not hardly being able to get up off the couch, I started a part-time job as a caregiver, feeling that somehow I would, recover from this. And then in March of 2012, I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer, and they thought it was my lymph nodes were involved. So using the technique of scaring the heck out of you, I just did whatever they asked, and I scheduled a surgery right away. I was given no time to really think about it, to do any research, to really understand what was going on at all. I scheduled the mastectomy, went through that. 5 lymph nodes were taken out of my left armpit. They were not cancerous, which they had been thought to be in the beginning. I then tried to recover from the surgery, and right as you leave the surgery, they schedule you with an oncologist and set you up for your chemotherapy treatments. I walked into the large tumor institute, and it was the saddest place I had ever seen. I was starting to feel better, and now I was looking around at what my future was going to be like. I talked to the oncologist, and he decided to do some testing on the cancer to see how likely it was that it would come back. And in a week I went back and saw him. They went ahead and scheduled the chemotherapy for that day before I even had a chance to digest, what was actually they were going to tell me and what was supposedly going on with me. I found that I was in a moderate range group, but they strongly recommended that I do 3 sessions of chemotherapy. I was now down to about 95 pounds, and I just didn't feel I would survive the chemotherapy. So I canceled the first chemo appointment, and my daughter had been into living waters for a treatment, and we'd done a little bit of research on Kevin Trudeau's book, Natural Cures, just kind of breaking the tip of the iceberg. And so I thought, I just need to go over there and talk to them before the next chemo appointment. And by now they're getting a little upset with me because I keep canceling these appointments. So I come over to Living Waters, and by a true miracle, David DeHaas is here working, and he says, it's a miracle that you found me here, because I've been gone for 2 months taking care of my wife, which was injured in an accident. And so he was very welcoming and willing to talk to me, and willing to have me sit down and look at some videos and talk to him about alternative ideas instead of the chemotherapy. And my last chance to do chemotherapy was the next day. When I left Living Waters, I knew what the answer was. And I went back the next day, and I told the oncologist that I was not going to do the chemo. And he browbeat me with more statistics, and said that he highly recommended that I do this, that I'd had the tumor for some time, so it's had a lot of chance to spread around and break off and lodge in other organs. And he said, if this comes back anywhere, it's incurable. It's a death sentence. And I just knew in my heart that this was not, I wasn't going to let them put the poison port into me and poison me anymore and tear me down any more than I already was. So leaving with many strange looks from everybody that I had talked to, and feeling, not that I was going to change my mind, but that, they just disapproved of my decision. I looked down the hall into this horrible room with chairs where people without hair were barely alive, being fed poison through medication ports in their bodies. Fluorescent lighting and clinical settings, and just felt this negative force in there that I wanted to run from. So I ran back to Living Waters, and I am learning more every day, and I scheduled a 10-day cleanse. I went in just totally destroyed, feeling very, very hopeless, feeling weak, dizzy, tired, absolutely no energy. And by the second day of the cleanse, I started to feel an energy come back to me. And every day as I went on, I felt like I was getting younger. I felt like my energy levels were rising. I felt at peace with my decision. I knew that I was going to get better, that I was getting better, and I will get better. Right now, on my 10th day, all I can say is I was trying to think back yesterday on how long it's been since I've felt this good, felt this positive, felt that, you know, I can do anything. I will not let the past stop me. The past is the past. Now I'm looking forward to the future and living the present. But the last time I can remember feeling this positive, this good, this healthy when I was about 16 years old. And I hope to just keep learning and keep taking care of myself and keep researching and keep getting younger as I age. And I'm just so grateful. The Bible verse, I've done a lot of study over the last 20 years, and I have a lot of verses that I've memorized. And the one that came back to me during this time was, "My children perish for their lack of knowledge." And it just breaks my heart to see those people railroaded into that chair and filled with poisons, thinking they have no other choice. And I'm just so thankful for this opportunity. And I will forever be thankful. And my life has been saved. And all I can look forward to now is playing with my 14-month-old grandson and chasing him in the park and feeling young and vital and capable and just loving life again. And for that, I'll be eternally grateful. Thank you.